everyone, and welcome to D&D News. I am Greg Tito, and I am here to say good morning to you. I am hearing myself talk, and it is making me crazy. So I am going to change that. There we go. We are muted over there, so I don't drive myself crazy. Did you guys hear that? You might have. You might have heard the inception of me talking to you, talking to me, talking to you. The top, it's still spinning. It really is. How are you all doing today? I see Majesty C2K1. Hello, good to see you. Yes, my daughter is still named Toast, and she will be forever in my heart. Perhaps maybe only until her 18th birthday, where she can make her own decisions. But until then, she is Toast in my heart. Yes. Hi, how are you? How is everyone? Oh, there's a Greg Rocks exclamation point. Does that, what does that do? I don't know what that does. Oh, that's how you get the raffle today. Oh, ha, ha, ha. I love it. Yes, I will be raffling off 2 packages today during D&D News. The first one will be probably right after I do D&D Rewind, which if you missed last week's episode, it is a recap of some of the best role-playing moments from here on the D&D Twitch channel. I'll be doing the first one then, and then the one closer to when Dice Camera Action is ready to start. That is what we're all here kind of waiting for Dice Camera Action to begin. It is episode 127, and we have a lot of amazing special guests returning. So Erica Fermina and Rachel Silly will be returning. I'm so excited to see those 2 smiling faces again. But today, on her birthday, a 3rd special guest will be appearing, and that is Christina Ariel Tigner. It is so exciting to wish you a happy birthday today. And you lucky audience members will get to wish her a happy birthday live when she appears on Dice Camera Action today at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I can't wait for that. She will also be performing later on tonight at Sirens of the Realms, which you should check out, and I'll get into that more then. But you'll be getting your own birthday presents, hopefully 2 of you who will be listening to the raffle as it begins. Again, some of the fun stuff we will be giving away is this Art and Arcana, the amazing visual history from 10 Speed Press, written by 4 amazing co-authors that were kind of almost like a D&D party unto themselves. We've talked a lot about this book, and I can't recommend it enough for fans of Dungeons & Dragons, and even those who aren't fans of Dungeons & Dragons, because it takes you through from the inception in Wisconsin and Gary Gygax and David Arneson, the visual look of what it appeared like then in the mind's eye of artists, both amateur and professional, to now, through all the editions, and it is fantastic. You might know about the artwork that is readily available in the books or video games that you see out there. But what I love about this book is that it also contains things like advertisements and ways to that people got the word out about Dungeons and Dragons that might have been left to time because they're already doing it. They're already super smart. But I now have a very special napkin that I'm going to show you. This is from Pelham Green. Just in case you guys were wondering, this is a magical napkin. If you use this napkin, it's not the napkin that's important. It's the code written on the napkin that is important. Yes, you're already all doing this, but if you put it in there, for sure, you will be entered into the raffle. Again, we're going to be 2 drawings for that, which will give you that Art and Arcana, as well as some Nolzors, marvelous miniatures, unpainted minis, that you can see exactly what you're getting. These are Myconid. This is a Myconid adult, so not the child. This is a XXX Myconid right here for you. And this is the Fire Genasi Wizard. These are some of the unpainted minis that you can get. They're already primed. If you ever wanted to get into painting miniatures, these are a great way to see exactly what you get, and they accept paint really well for those of you. Yes, the raffle. I see Caralithia saying, is the raffle available internationally? And yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's do it for that. And then you also get, we won't be able to tell you exactly what color you'll get, but you will be able to designate which size. But we have some new fun Dungeons and Dragons t-shirts that we made. This one is one of my faves, bright red. Very similar to this one that I'm wearing, but the regular logo. This one is a little bit more camouflagey, I guess you might say. Dark greens and the light beige. Let's not call it beige. Let's call it taupe. That's what they call it in the J. Peterman catalogs, right? That could be one of the ones you get. This one is more a little bit more Seattle-y themed. If you are a footballer of the aquatic bird variety, you might enjoy this color scheme there. And of course, the hot pink and white text shirt that is sure to be flying off the proverbial shelves. That is the package that you'll get. So you get one t-shirt, some assortment of random unpainted minis, and a copy of Art and Arcana. We'll be doing those drawings very soon, and we're excited about that, as I see you are. And don't forget, the way to enter that raffle is by doing the ! Greg Rocks, which you are already doing. And it's not true, because I usually die of rocks falling. How are you guys doing today? I see a lot of awesome people. Venefitrix is asking, why aren't those awesome shirts available for sale online somewhere? That is an excellent question. Why aren't they? I don't know. I'm just the marketer. I just get things out there. I'm not necessarily the person who gets it into stores. But I think those type of t-shirts, simple brand logo t-shirts, would sell like hotcakes. Definitely to this audience, those of you who are paying attention to chat right now. But yeah, we're working on it. Let's just say that we are working on ways to get these into your hands, because I agree with you. I think there is a demand for those type of shirts out there that are not the ones that use artwork or any kind of retro kind of tooling. I like the ones that are, of the now and could be quite modern. So we're working on it. It's going to be a thing. Devin Rue says she'd buy them. That makes me very happy. We will be talking to Devin Rue this Friday on Dragon Talk. If you are unaware, she is an amazing cartographer, fantasy cartographer, I might add, of maps and artifacts that just look fantastic, and I can't wait to pick her brain along with Shelly Mazzanoble at 1 p.m. Pacific time right here on this Twitch channel. Hi, Devin. Good to see you. Can't wait to talk to you and find out all of your secrets and basically just drool through the microphone onto your creations, because they're great. Definitely more shirts with logos. We will make it happen. Yes, we will. Yes, and I agree with everything that Obo Crazy is saying. Please be safe, those of you who are in the polar vortex in the middle of the United States of America this week. It is looking quite dire for those of you who are trapped within its throes. It is unfortunate that Chris Perkins is using, returning to the Ring of Winter storyline in Dice Camera Action, because it almost seems prescient at this point. But yes, stay warm as much as you can. Burn all the firewood and keep your place warm. Speaking of firewood, I had an amazing D&D session last night that I just can't not talk to you guys about before I get into some of the nitty-gritty of what's happening in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. So yeah, I was using the Beadle and Grimm's Platinum Box for the first time with my group. We are going through Dragon Heist. They kind of finished the first chapter and are into the I don't want to spoil too much, but they're exploring their new surroundings of a building, and I had a great time basically dealing with having to start a fire. It is in the autumn time in Waterdeep in my campaign, and they knew it was going to be cold, so they started to light a fire, but it was extremely difficult for them because of one of the denizens of that building kept blowing it out. And I was able to describe some pretty, I don't know, maybe it wasn't evocative, but it felt like it was evocative to me as I was describing it as the dungeon master of a face blowing out any kind of spark that would ignite from their flint and tinder. Yeah, fun times. Then some of the charcoal from those put out fires were used to scrawl messages, and that was tons of fun. And we got through an entire session. I think we played for a good 3 hours with no combat whatsoever. Minimal roll. I mean, the rolls were persuasion and knowledge and religion checks, and it ended up being really fun. And they are a group of players that you might think would be more leaning towards combat, or at least I did, and maybe that was my, preconceived notions coming to a head. But it was an extremely satisfying session that I enjoyed thoroughly. I got to role play out as many NPCs in Waterdeep, and it was my jam. And shout out to Matthew Liller's company, Beetle and Grimm's, for the amazing artifacts that are within the Platinum Edition. They went over very well with my players, including, I think, what was the shining prop, at least for this session, was the deed, a deed to a property that was, a physical item that they could be like, oh, who has it? You have it. And then I could point at the end. It was not signed by anyone, and so now they have to make sure that they seal that deal with the legal magistrate in Waterdeep. Basically, with tons of world building in a session, and I enjoyed it. I loved it. I ended up capping a pretty cool day, because I don't know if you were able to see, but I can point you to a pretty cool thing. Yes, this is it. We announced yesterday, in conjunction with the Mountain Goats, a brand new album coming from the Mountain Goats. They approached us, and this is a cover, an image of the cover for the new album. It is called In League with Dragons. It is going to be out April 26th, and it began as a rock opera, as John Darnielle told us, that was set in a fantasy land. There's 4 or 5 songs on the 12-song album that still deal with that rock album story, but there is a few other songs that are involved in it, so I don't want to make it feel like it's like a crazy concept album, although it's unclear right now exactly which songs are pertaining to which part of the story. But there are definitely tons of dragon themed things happening through it. The title track, In League with Dragons, he didn't play on the live stream that you saw yesterday, but he did play it for a private concert here at Wizards of the Coast for employees only, and that was pretty amazing to see, and it sounded pretty good just with him and a guitar playing in the Mountain Goats. So thank you so much for everyone who was able to watch the live stream yesterday. We'll be showing off some, a very tiny clip of the interview that I did with John Darnielle from the Mountain Goats, leading up to his live stream performance yesterday as part of D&D Rewind. And if you're interested in checking out the full recording, it will be up on YouTube very soon, if not already, and it is available on our Twitch channel as well as on Facebook Live, on the Facebook Live Mountain Goats site, as well as on our friends at Magic, their Twitch channel as well. So many places to find it if you are interested, and look for it, because it was a very fun interview, if I do say myself. 20 minutes of picking John's brain is tons of fun. He's a wonderful person, and as you'll see, a very fond fan of both or many of the games that Wizards of the Coast puts out, including Magic the Gathering, a newer fan of that, as well as Dungeons and Dragons. So good stuff all around, and many thanks to John, Julian, and Ryan from his team putting this together. It was kind of a lark. We found out about it about 2 weeks ago, where they pitched us doing this whole thing, and we pulled it all together in just that short amount of time from various members of the staff here at Wizards of the Coast, all firing on all cylinders, and I think it looked pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed it too. Is anybody here fans of the Mountain Goats and their music? Were you excited to watch them? Venefitrix, awesome to get some MTG Planeswalker D&D content. You mean similar to the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, but using the Planeswalkers as PCs? Is that what you're referring to? Because that would be pretty cool. Carolithia, you didn't know who they were before the stream. Well, I hope you're going to check out their music now. It is pretty fantastic. I was aware of the band, but hadn't listened into any kind of deep dives into their albums, but I did so in the last week or so, and it was fantastic. And I've been having songs like This Year just rattling in my brain over the last few days. Really did kind of strike a nerve, and I've heard that from a lot of people who are fans, that there's one or two lyrics even or complete songs that really speak to the specific human condition. And I think John, being a gamer kind of through and through, some of those emotions and those that favoritism towards games and the ideas behind games kind of come through in his music. So if you're a fan of D&D, I think by extension you might be a fan of Mountain Goats, the music. Not necessarily. It may not be for you, but it definitely strikes a chord with me and a lot of people here at Wizards of the Coast. They kind of came out of the woodwork as soon as we announced that this was going to happen. There was a very large contingent that I'm not sure I expected, of people who were over the moon that the Mountain Goats were coming to announce their new album from here. So it was a really special day all around. And thanks for everybody who was able to watch and participate in it. I hope you got to see how special it was for us too. David Crispin says, great tunes. Yeah, he picked a pretty good set list for sure. I enjoyed it, and you never know what it's going to be like when a singer appears without his full band behind him. I know he began as just a solo act, but he, even as he said on the stream, he's not used to doing it by himself at this point. But it ended up being really good. And I just noticed that I've been using the word "but" very percussively, and I apologize for that. And I'm sure I'm killing you guys, so my bad. Yes, I forgot Edward Longleaf. You just reminded me because he said he loved the name Mountain Goats here in chat. There is a Magic the Gathering card that is a mountain goat that I heard he gets asked to sign a lot at events, not even having to do with Wizards of the Coast, but we were able to gift him quite a few copies of that card as a thank you for being here, as well as all that stuff. So Texas Monkey Head, okay, I'll get you one of those mugs. Hit me up on Twitter and I'll send it your way, because I know what it's like when you don't have the mug with all of the coffee that you need in front of you. It is a thing. All right, so D&D news is the thing. We have I showed you some of the stuff that was happening in the press already, including the amazing bit from the Mountain Goats. Here, I'll just put that up again just so you can see some of the artwork there, because it is pretty fantastic. Oh gosh, I wish I almost had the all of the artwork here in front of me, but I don't necessarily. But it is very evocative for sure. And here is some coverage of what was happening. GeekWire says the Mountain Goats are into dragons, Dungeons and Dragons specifically. That is very true. I don't know. There's it says longtime band promoting geeky album with Wizards live stream. The Mountain Goats have been around for almost 3 decades now, again, beginning with John, so it's amazing that they continue to produce amazing stuff. I wanted to also point out Consequence of Sound, talking about what was happening yesterday. That's probably a better image of the album cover there in its entirety. I loved the focus on the little boy there in the bottom left and his friend the dragon battling the orcs, or kind of evil creatures that are in the background there. And if that doesn't look like a D&D or a Magic the Gathering dragon, then I don't know what is. But it was also pretty cool seeing a whole bunch of outlets cover Dungeons and Dragons, or at least mention Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons that might not normally do so. And Consequence of Sound was definitely one of those that they cover the indie music business, and having them mention us is always an awesome thing, at least for me as a a D&D PR director, right? It's pretty cool. I want to show you this. Here's a fun little bit that never gets old. I love pointing out some fun things that happen out here. This is it. Dungeon Master, what diabolical plan? I wouldn't even know how to begin. And there it is. I see tons of these all the time, and they definitely do make me laugh. But I don't always have that contentious relationship between players and DMs that many people have. Maybe it's just the way I run games. But that is always fun. I know we've mentioned this a few times, but it is always cool to see Entertainment Tonight talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Did you ever think that was going to be a thing? Here they are mentioning Joe Manganiello helping the kids be kids with the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. Good article there at ET Online about what Joe was able to do with those children, and I love to see it. So again, we mentioned this a few times, but there's continuing to be more and more outlets who are covering the philanthropy of Joe and his brother going to play Dungeons and Dragons with children at the hospital, and we're hoping more and more are able to do that going forward. Here is a little bit of a different press that also will dovetail in what I'm going to be talking about next with the Adventurers League and things happening for the Dungeon Masters Guild. This is an article that was on Slash Gear about a Dungeons and Dragons supplement that was written by med students involving diseases, and many. I know this is not exactly super new, but it is something that makes me happy, which is a supplement which talks about all of the fun stuff, and by fun I mean not fun, diseases that you can add into your game. And I believe this one was based on actual diseases because it was med students who were coming in. So take a look at it. I know the Dungeon Masters Guild is down right now today as they are uploading their new server to the cloud, so you might not be able to check it out right now, but you can get it very soon, if not in the next few hours, definitely by next week. And here's a quote from Dungeon Masters Guild, just so you guys can take a look. You might have noticed the DM's Guild is down as its server gets uploaded to the cloud. Their hardworking tech goblins are ironing out some last-minute issues, and our last update is that if it's not back up already, they are working to get the site back up ASAP. And it looks like someone in chat says it's working fine, so it might already be fixed and ready to download. So perfect reason to go out and check out the Malady Workshop if your search engine works correctly. If not, they will continue to fix it and get it ready to go to serve all of your needs. Because there are a lot of needs out there. I'm actually using a couple of things from the Dungeon Masters Guild in my Waterdeep campaign, including Durnan's Guide to Tavern Keeping, and I can't wait to do more of that going forward. So we have a couple of awesome things in Adventurers League news to tell you about. If you don't know what the Adventurers League is, it is the D&D's official play campaign. That means you can take a character that you make in Adventurers League and go with them to any other friendly local game store, convention, charity event, even your own home, wherever an Adventurers League game is being played, and use that character there. It's basically like an ecosystem where you can always hopefully try to find new friends, new players, people who want to pick up and play Dungeons and Dragons wherever they can. That's Adventurers League in a nutshell. You can always find out more about that by going to their new Facebook page, which is at facebook.com/Adventurers League. That is where all major Adventurers League announcements will be coming from. And of course, the posts are made to be shareable and as public as possible. You don't need a Facebook account to access that public page. I know there's some people out there that don't necessarily want to participate and sign up for a social media account. This is just an easy way for basically you make a website and it has some social kind of things going on. So you can go check it out there. There's also some other fun stuff that that's happening in Adventures League that you may not know about, even if you are a fan and already participating in the program. And that is that there are 2 new regions in the Forgotten Realms that has been opened up to top community contributors. So you can adventure in the Border Kingdoms with Gamehole Con and the Moonshae Islands, or Isles, as I should say, with Bald Man Games. So what that means is that those regions within the Forgotten Realms are going to be open at, for a Gamehole Con as an example, in the Adventurers League play at Gamehole Con, which is an amazing convention in Wisconsin that you should check out if you're in the area or travel to if you want to. And then the Moonshae Isles is being populated by a group called Bald Man Games that we have been working with for a long, long time. They run Adventurers League convention play at many different events, including Gen Con and others. And so they will be playing around with adventures in the Moonshae Isles this year. So, and if you're unfamiliar with the Moonshae Isles, they were the first published region of the Forgotten Realms. Yes, that's right. All of the Forgotten Realms that you know out there, including the books by R.A. Salvatore, even books by Ed Greenwood himself. The Moonshae Isles were the first published region in the Forgotten Realms, which I think is pretty cool. You can learn about it with the Moonshae Isles Regional Guide that is now available on the newly updated DMsGuild.com, where you can also do print on demand for that as well. Yes, and so I'll be doing a drawing for the raffle very soon. Again, Greg Rocks is the magic napkin that you need to put into the chat to enter that drawing. Before I do, I want to show you 2 pictures from Adventurers League events, and then show you D&D Rewind, and then after that we will do the drawing. So just in a couple minutes. One of the fun things that we want to do on D&D News is highlight some groups from the Adventurers League events from across the world. If you would like to submit a photo of your Adventurers League group, send it to community@dndadventurersleague.org and include a little blurb about where the event is taking place, if it's in a local game store, what state, what country. And then what other information you feel kind of safe wanting to share publicly in this kind of venue here. We'll select a few of those and talk about them here. So the first one I want to show you is, I believe it's, oh man, I hope this is the right one. It was numbered correctly. I apologize if not. This is a small growing Adventurers League group from Ascoli Piceno, Italy. I hope this is Italy. Does that look like Italy to you guys? That looks Italian, right? I can't tell. I apologize if this is not actually it. I don't have the file names in here. But that's very cool. I love it. I might have this wrong. Oh no, this might be that. You know what? This looks Italian. This looks Italian to me. Honestly, I can't tell. Hard to say. I don't know. But in any case, these 2 photos are amazing. Let's see, now I think this might be the Citadel. I can't tell if this is the Citadel or if this is the Citadel. But I wanted to give it a super shout out, whichever one is a image of the Citadel in the gaming cellar in Groton, Connecticut. Sadly, shortly after this picture was taken, Clyde the Halfling Hexblade was reduced to dust by an undead beholder. Alas, Clyde, we barely knew you. Yes, that is very sad. One little quick bit about Groton, Connecticut. I grew up in East Lyme, Connecticut, 2-3 towns to the west of Groton. Groton is known as the submarine capital of the world. That's where one of the U.S. sub bases is for the East Coast. My dad used to work on submarines, so I know Groton, Connecticut well. In fact, I did a National History Day and many of you may not know it, but it's basically National History Day is like a project that high schoolers do about a specific subject. And my subject was the attack on Fort Griswold during the American Revolution. And it took place in Groton, Connecticut. That's where Fort Griswold was, and it was attacked by the British general, none other than Benedict Arnold, the turncoat who was an American officer and joined the British. He led the attack as one of his first duties since mutinying against George Washington and joining the British, and he attacked Groton. So I did an entire thing about that. I never actually played D&D at the Citadel, but I do remember driving by and seeing that, and I think I did go in a few times and check out the games back in the 80s when I was living in Connecticut. So thank you guys, shout out for that. Really awesome pictures. Yeah, all right, so I'm going to do the raffle in just 1 minute, but before I do, I want to set up the D&D Rewind for this week. So this is edited by the amazing Steve Sprinkles, putting together a whole bunch of clips from the last week of D&D live play and other sessions here on the D&D Twitch channel. So without further ado, let me show you this week's D&D Rewind.
Actually, no, Manchun has you turn on Durnan.
Okay. And you see Doppeldia like tries to do like a roll towards Durnan, trying to be as deathly as possible, but he just kind of like, before actually rolling, he like gets down onto his butt first and then like eggs up and then like rolls over and crawls up, and he's like, I'm Diaz, and then attacks him twice.
It's like one of those kindergarten cartwheels.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically that, like his hands go down, just, Tis I, the Hokage.
Hello! Welcome back to another Dragon Quest live stream. I'm your host, as always, Bart Carroll. I missed you all last week, but glad to be here this week. My co-host, as always, is Jeremy Hopford. Actually, Jeremy was running slightly delayed, and so we had to stand in, although he is now here, but that would have ruined my stupid bit, so...
With that, unless you are carrying light sources, there is no light in here.
I will cast light on my Morning Star.
Sure.
I'll light my hooded lantern. My eyeballs are lights. I'm fine.
I'm good.
Okay.
I holler from the bottom of the stairs and I go, 5-second warning, I'm running down the hallway!
Magpie just got back.
Magpie, come on! So I know that you'll follow me without question. Let's go.
Magpie, are you all right?
And actually, this is corny, but if you're watching this to see me and you don't actually play any games, maybe you're like me and you don't really socialize much, I really strongly recommend it. Game playing is really a blast, and it's like you can find somebody. It's really, I mean, I know that's a corny kind of pitch thing to say, but it's really fun and has improved my life and made me less susceptible to getting like aimless and sad about things.
I'm gonna roll an investigation and check out the place.
Same. Oh, that's a natural one.
Oh, that's a natural one.
Wow.
That's what you get for trying to do. We're in the wrong bar. I want to say that you guys turned around and go outside, but okay.
We're all warmed up, and now's the show. Here we go.
I'd kill you just for being so uppity. I do not take kindly to threats. But we are within sight of the friendly arm, and I did just tell a guard that I wasn't going to be rude or try anything untoward. What? No! Oh, you gotta be kidding me right now.
I mean, I think it's great, but I'm just a little curious.
We just love Vistani here. We just love you. Your people have such a rich culture.
Light on this sleaze bag.
Yeah. Roll that insight.
Didn't go so well.
You know,
9.
my first girlfriend was a quarter Vistani.
Oh, well, I mean, it doesn't really work like that, but, I'm not going to, that's great, as long as she is proud of her culture.
I've been told I'm Vistani on my grandmother's side, just Vistani princess,
All right. Yeah, that is it. What do you guys think of D&D Rewind this week? I think that's only the second time that we've done it. Always excited to find out what everyone thought about it, feedback, get more and better clips from everything that's coming from the D&D Twitch channel. So if you are interested in nominating any clips from anything you see, go ahead and use the clip feature here on Twitch and edit out the moment that you think was the funniest or the really good example of role-playing or just something that was super poignant and get it out to us. You can tweet about it. You can tweet it at me. You can tweet it at Steve Sprinkles, if you can find him on Twitter, as well as just clipping it in general from the D&D Twitch channel will give us kind of a good feedback loop of all that thing. If you want to use the hashtag, D&D Rewind when you tweet about it, that'll just help us kind of collate and find the best clips to be able to make it work. So thank you for that. Again, always any feedback you have to improve that video going forward. I think it's a great way for folks to get into what's happening. All right, so before this gets too far out of hand, let's do a raffle for the first package. Again, we'll be giving away Noel Zor's Marvelous Miniatures, a package of a few random of those, a amazing D&D t-shirt of the size that you wish, not necessarily the color, and a copy of Art and Arcana, a visual history of Dungeons and Dragons. It will be hopefully still shrink wrapped just like this. So let's go ahead and do the first drawing for that right now. Is there someone who in chat who can do that for me? Make it so. While that is happening, I do want to show something pretty fun, which is okay. Lauren is going to do it very soon. I'll wait until that happens. Oh my God, I can't believe there's so many people. There's lots of people saying Greg rocks. It's got nothing to do with me. They just want all the stuff. All right, Kitomai City, you have been accepted as the giveaway winner. Congratulations, Key to My City, as I'm now sounding that out. You are amazing. You are the winner. Thank you very much. Some folks will be in touch with you for sizing and figuring out the address to send that to. Congratulations. We'll be doing one more drawing right before we throw it to Dice Camera Action episode 1. I'm going to get it wrong, but I think it's 127. I already said it. But yes, 3 amazing special guests on today's Dice Camera Action. Christina Ariel will be joining for her birthday. Again, make sure you wish her happy birthday when you catch it. And the return of Erica Farmina and Rachel Seeley from last week's episode as their storyline continues there. Not to mention the amazing Waffle Crew with Chris Perkins as Dungeon Master, Jared Knabenbauer, Holly Conrad, Anna Prosser, and Nate Sharp. So we got a full slate of characters for you. Speaking of Chris Perkins, I saw someone say that the laughter of Chris Perkins is quite pure, but I'm not sure that the comedic stylings of Chris Perkins are always so pure. So you should, if you're interested in finding let's say a different side of Chris, you should check out the Hello from the Magic Tavern podcast. The most recent episode features Mr. Chris Perkins playing a Modron by the name of Wee Woo, as well as, I believe, a couple of other names that is given to it as the episode progresses. If you're not familiar with Hello from the Magic Tavern, it is Arnie Niekamp, who is the tallish gentleman in that picture there. fell through a magic portal through the land of Foon, and he gets just enough Wi-Fi signal from the Burger King back in Chicago that he is able to upload a podcast as he speaks to the crazy denizens of the magical land of Foon from a tavern. I believe they're now in the Vermilion Minotaur. And it's very funny. Improv comedians from the Chicago area, really invested in fantasy tropes as well as I'm going to say some mature language. There's definitely some swear words and some full-on potty humor. So don't expect something quite highbrow if you're going to listen to the Magic Tavern. But I enjoy it thoroughly. It makes me laugh and giggle, sometimes on a visceral level. And it's great to see Chris Perkins take on this role for a comedic podcast. And I hope you enjoy it too. Again, that episode is now up at anywhere you can find Hello from the Magic Tavern in your podcast feeds. So check it out if you are interested. All right. Gosh, what else are we going to talk about now? I only got 18 minutes here, really, to go on. How's everybody doing? Are you all kind of jealous of who won the raffle? Well, again, you have one more chance. That is going to be, the reward for all of your hard work of putting Greg Rocks into the chat as much as possible. We'll be getting one more of those too. I'd mentioned before Beetle and Grimm's, their Platinum Edition for Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Those full boxes are all sold out, but you may still be able to get some artifacts that you could find within those boxes on their own, a la carte. Go to beetleandgrimms.com if you're interested for that. A lot of the metal artwork or the metallurgy work is pretty great, and I enjoyed playing with those artifacts before. I mentioned Art and Arcana already. That is still available and out there. There is a D&D calendar available on ThinkGeek. It is the first month of 2019, at least for a couple more days. So you should pick it up if you're interested in still having a wall calendar in your life. I currently have it on my daughter's wall. She loved all the artwork within it. So she is going crazy, marking off the dates on that one, and you should too. Death Saves is the amazing line of apparel by Joe Manganiello and DJ Dieselboy. And they're pretty awesome, and there is always new and interesting collections going out there. You can go to deathsaves.com to get interested in that. Obviously, it's not the full-on just simple logos that I was showing off earlier. It has a much more metal 1980s feel to a lot of the graphic design on them, but they speak to me quite a bit as well. So if you're interested in picking up D&D apparel, that's a one good way to do it. I've been using Sirenscape like crazy. Do you guys, when you're playing Dungeons & Dragons, do you guys play music? I used to do that back in the day. I had a CD that I had burned. Remember when you used to burn CDs, people? You probably don't remember that. But you could, basically create your own mixtapes. You don't even know what mixtapes are either. Of amazing music or score. And I remember as a dungeon master having to skip to the right track, and it would never play long enough. And I would put it on repeat. And then sometimes a battle would last for too long, and then you were like, I'm sick of hearing the same battle song. Never really worked. But Sirenscape is the perfect tool for you for that. It adds an ambience that is undeniably cool for fans of Dungeons & Dragons. It's easy for dungeon masters to use. You can just create a dashboard, or it has a very nice kind of dashboard UI on it with the touch of a button. I have a touch screen on my laptop, so I'll do that and use that interface to change up what's happening. And Sirenscape, Benjamin Looms, the composer and creator of Sirenscape, created these amazing sound packs designed for Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and it is down to each specific chapter, each specific location to a certain degree. Each has their own sound set within it. different phases of battles. If things happen or occur in this way, you can just kind of, as I said, touch a button, and then all of a sudden the sound effects of what's happening, say in the yawning portal, just kind of come up, and it's on this algorithmic loop that allows not to have the same thing just repeat all the time, or have any kind of discernible pattern. It kind of generates sounds that would occur, and randomizes when they would come and when they wouldn't, so that it doesn't feel stale or strange or repeated into that uncanny valley type thing. I love using it. I think other people should use it too. My voice is on it. I'm not going to tell you how or why, but it is kind of cool that I got to record some sounds behind it. Sirenscape often goes to Gen Con and larger conventions for gaming, and records people like you doing large group settings. Maybe it'll be a crowd chanting or screams, and he will sometimes use those in creating sound effects. So it's a very cool community-led event, and you can customize it however you want. So that's my spiel on Sirenscape. You should check it out if you are running Dragon Heist or any kind of fun tabletop role-playing game. They've got lots of genres and adventures to choose from within it. Whiz Kids, I already mentioned the amazing Nolzor's Marvelous Miniatures. They are out and available to paint in. There is also an amazing expansion to Rock Paper Wizards. I haven't actually played Rock Paper Wizards yet. Have you guys, anybody in chat who has played it? From what I understand, it is a game of gestures that you're playing as a wizard, and you have to repeat a certain amount of gestures in the right, correct way to score points and win the game. There's an expansion now out for Rock Paper Wizard called Fistful of Monsters, which I imagine is a lot of fisticuffs, some other hand motions and things like that. So check it out. Venefitrix says they have played it. It's super fun and quick to learn. And the expansion is so good, Ref Gemlin says. So cool. You've got some folks here in the chat who have played it and would love to give it a thumbs up to you guys. So you should check it out if you can. And the expansion seems to just be more of the fun same. There's also some cool spell effects out there. Arcane Fury, which gives you miniatures for what spell effects, like a wall of fire. There's a wall of fire and ice. Those you can mark on your, if you use miniatures in your tactical display of where characters are when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons. You're always at a loss when you're like, oh, here's a wall of fire, and you might take even just an orange pen and write some wavy lines, but now you'll have a physical thing that looks like it is a wall of fire standing up, and those are available in stores now. Of course, if you're playing Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, there's a whole line of miniatures, Icon of the Realms, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, that you can find in there, including the Niv Mizzet Dragon. So good fun stuff. All right, we got dice camera action happening in just about 10 minutes. In just about 5 minutes, I'll be doing the final raffle for some Nolzor's Marvelous Miniatures from Wizards of the Coast. This copy of Art and Arcana, maybe not this copy, but a copy of Art and Arcana, a visual history of Dungeons & Dragons, and one Dungeons & Dragons t-shirt. It won't have your name on it, but it will have your name on it, or at least the size that you choose, and it will be coming out there. Ether Dark, your kid just puked everywhere? Oh no, I understand the terribleness of that situation. If by everywhere you meant in your mouth, then I apologize profusely. I have been there. I think I saw someone on Instagram recently pointing out how there's so many mommy pictures of like, hey, I'm a mom and everything is so great, and she did one of those pictures and pointed out and labeled it to being like, here's puke, here is the unwashed hair, here is leaking things, here's other things that are really happening. And it is true, that is what it's like when you are in the stuff. I want to say some other things, but when you're in it to win it, and I salute you. You do in fact deserve a win. So at the very least, give me a shout out on Twitter, and maybe I'll get you something because you deserve it. Puking everywhere is no bueno in anyone's book. 9-month-old. Oh geez, I hear ya. I am. Yes, I'm for moms and for dads. So last couple bits of news: Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons number 4 is out now. That's right. There was a mini series written by Jim Zub and Patrick Rothfuss, two amazing, very funny authors. Jim Zub is doing all kinds of crazy things for Dungeons and Dragons this year, as well as Patrick Rothfuss being a kind of pillar of both the D&D and the fantasy communities. Fantastic stuff. This miniseries has been really well received amongst both Rick and Morty fans and Dungeons and Dragons fans, and that Venn diagram has kind of a large sliver in the middle of it there. So I hope you're checking it out. There are cameos from some recognizable dungeon masters that have graced these very halls, including Mike Merles, Chris Perkins, and Satine Phoenix. You might see their visages appear in this comic book. I suggest you check it out if you have been following along, and if not, get issues 1 through 3 and then issue number 4 to read them all. I'm sure they will be bound into a trade paperback pretty soon. They are amazing and worth checking out. You don't necessarily have to be a fan of both properties because they do a great job of onboarding folks who may not know. So do it, make it happen. It's pretty cool. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a fantastic video game that you can play on consoles, you can play it on your tablets, you can play it on the PC, and it features tons of characters from D&D streams, including many of them from Dice Camera Action that you may have seen. We got to get some of the guests from Dice Camera Action, their characters in Idle Champions very soon. They did a stint on Critical Role a few weeks ago that has been very awesome to see new and exciting people getting into Idle Champions, so I hope you are too. All right, let me just get in a little bit into the schedule before we do the final raffle drawing and then throw it to Chris Perkins to start Dungeon Mastering for Dice Camera Action episode 127, titled Ring Wrath, Part 2. All right, so what's happening? Today, we've had a whole bunch of fun stuff going on. You know about Dice Camera Action coming up. It's got 3 special guests, Christina Ariel, Erica Fermina, and Rachel Seeley. Tonight, Sirens of the Realms, Season 3, Episode 15, where Dungeon Master Satine Phoenix and the Siren Sisters, Cynthia Marie, Christina Ariel, Taya Tigner, Kelly Lynn D'Angelo, Ken Shea, Vivid Vivka, and the Siren Bro, Jason Charles Miller. From episode 13, it was part of the season finale, part 1. They have made a plan and begun the execution of said plan. Brig hires mercenaries called the Hellclaws. Nothing could go wrong there. And Xeris sings an anthem to inspire them. Phalor inspired the group with a full battle song with Brig Hellclaw on guitar. Using illusory terrain, they whittle away the Emerald Cabal and the Zentarum in the warehouse and head deeper into the Castellanter's estate to find and destroy the Elixir Machine. So that's where we are setting up for Part 2, which you can check out tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Time right here on the D&D Twitch channel. Tomorrow, we've got Dragon Plus starting at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. That's when Bart Carroll will be talking to B. Dave Walters about his upcoming comic coming from IDW set in Dungeons and Dragons. I can't wait to find out more about those characters, and you can too during that hour starting at 1 p.m. Then at 2 p.m., we are hosting Heroes of the Veil with Dungeon Master Todd Kenrick from here in the Seattle area. In fact, I just saw him check in. He's here in the Wizards of the Coast building right now. And the amazing players Adam Bradford, Lauren Urban, TJ Storm, Hope Lavelle, and welcoming for her second episode, Jennifer Kretschmer, the amazing role player and extraordinaire. So that'll be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Inkwell Society is that night at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. And then on Thursday, we've got a busy day. 9 a.m. to 10, we are hosting the D&D Beyond Deb update with Adam Bradford. 10 a.m. to 12, we got Encounter Roleplay, Learn by Play. 1 to 3, we've got Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. And then at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, from this very chair, Kate Welch will be playing Baldur's Gate in the second episode of her new show, Welch's Game Juice. How many of you got a chance to watch Kate in her debut last week. I thought it went swimmingly well, made me laugh a lot. I just enjoy her personality in general as a coworker, but seeing her on stream talking to you, playing through Baldur's Gate, that first seminal Dungeons & Dragons video game that brought in so many people to the fantasy storytelling of this game. Fantastic. So you'll be able to check her continuing adventures as she juices so many players and NPCs throughout there. And then, of course, hosting Critical Role that night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Update, there is no spoilers and swag happening this Friday. That will be next Friday. So you'll be able to see Nate and Kate talk about spoiling a whole bunch of fun stuff. And then tomorrow, at Friday at 12 noon, that's when we begin our Dragon Talk live stream. I'll be bantering with Shelly Mazanoble from 12 to 1 p.m. And then we'll be talking to Devin Rue. Hopefully, Devin, you're still in the chat. Hey, how's it going? And then we'll be following up with another Sage Advice segment with Jeremy Crawford. I have loved being able to talk to Jeremy Crawford as much as I have about mechanics and stuff. That will be happening at 2 p.m. We're hosting then, of course, Binwin Plays Idle Champions at 3, followed up by Tales from the Mists, an amazing show led by Dungeon Master TK Johnson, who is often in our chat, heading up what's happening there. So salute to you, TK. This cast is fantastic and amazing, and I love every one of them. So you should be watching Tales from the Mists if you haven't already. Saturday's got Fistful of Platinum at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Trace Albus, we're hosting at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And then on Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, Rivals of Waterdeep, Dungeon Master Sharif Jackson, rocking it and rolling it. And then we'll be hosting at 4 p.m. Pacific time, D4, with co-DMs Dustin Fletcher and Devin Herndon. I love all you guys. I'm running out of time, so sorry if I gave a little bit short shrift there to those of you at the end. Final raffle will be going now, if it hasn't gone already. Make the raffle go. I want to announce the winner before we say goodbye. Wee Woo is fantastic and will be doing all types of fun things. And Merc Doty has been drawn for the giveaway. Congratulations, Merc Doty. You are fantastic. Are you there? Can you say that you've got it? I have not seen it yet. Oh, I hope so. Congrats, Mark Doty. You are amazing. I hope you're still in the chat. If not, we will just have to give it to someone else. But I'm going to throw it to Chris Perkins and the rest of the Waffle Crew right now for episode 127, part 2 of Ring Wrath, beginning right about now. Thanks, everybody. Bye.